Well, good afternoon. Craig Johnson alongside Principal Kevin Rang from the GLR High School, and we're talking Genius Week. This is our second episode in the Genius Week
Yeah,
series. Want to welcome you along, sir.
yeah, thank you.
And let's just do a quick recap of what we hit last time with an update. I'll bring it from my notes from the first time. We have
Okay.
a what I'm calling a "My Mom Won't Let Me Have a Dog" dogless duck retrieval unit project.
Yeah.
And you were telling us about their invention, which may necessitate a patent. Can you tell us a little
Yes.
more of what's going on with that project?
Well, and the learning here might be patience. This group is five young men that are anxious to move this product forward, and they have to sit and wait for people. They have to, they made a lot of calls last Friday to patent lawyers, and found out that it costs a lot of money just to talk to a patent lawyer. They finally got a hold of a patent law firm, and was their headquarters out of Minneapolis. That they said, "Hey, let me make a call to Sioux Falls. We've got a contact down there to make arrangements just to talk to these kids." And they were able to make contact with this Sioux Falls lawyer, and today they went and had a conversation with this lawyer for no cost, but found out that patenting ideas is not a free enterprise if you want to do it the right way. So it's been a learning process, and they had to learn probably patience that to find the right connections to make this happen.
So it takes real money just to find out if there's already a patent that
Yeah,
is on the idea, and then if there isn't, then it takes really real money to actually go about the process of properly patenting an invention, doesn't it?
yeah, absolutely. The figures and it'll be in their presentations tomorrow that it's $750 just to do a patent search to make sure there's not another item out there that is like their invention, and then it's thousands of dollars after that to go through the process of patenting, and the time along with the money that and the forms I'm sure are plentiful at least. So they're learning that it's complicated. It's great that we've come up with this idea. Now they want to do something with that idea, and talking with you that there's some ways that they can do that.
That'd be exciting to put the rest of that together and find out, first of all, if there is an item out there that is
Yeah,
closer to it than they thought, or if there's not, that'd be super exciting. So
yeah.
great update there, and I'm sure that presentation will be very compelling. And I'm sure they've learned a lot of really good information. I'm sure you're right about the patience portion of the project. That's
Yeah.
just as important as a good idea sometimes. So um, I I am wondering if there's any update on the build a tractor that can be taken apart and carried to the mountaintop project.
Yeah, yeah. They've got it running. They had it apart. I really thought it would be in more pieces myself to make it easier to go up the mountain, but they've got it so it can come apart and be put back together in two pieces, plus this implement that they've devised for it. And they've got it running, and they can take it apart, put it together. It takes a hefty man to carry the motor, but they can do it. So they're meeting the requirements, and it's able to do work. So they got it running. They've got, I would say it's a chisel plow type of attachment that will probably dig soil 2-3 inches deep, so they can plant anywhere in the world that they can get this old lawnmower moved up to. But they took it seriously. A lot of the problem was getting the motor running, but yet taking it apart, putting it back together. So right now what I saw today, they're not completely finished, but I think they're going to accomplish the task that I put at hand.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, there's so many projects going on. I think if you had to put an official number on the total projects, what would be an estimate, a ballpark
Uh,
figure?
and if we leave our internships off of there, there's 13 internships that are going on at the same time that kids are going out and visiting businesses in their area of interest that they're going to go to college or post-secondary training for. There's 13 of them and 37 different projects.
37. So
Yeah,
you have a big day of presentations available tomorrow. Is that
absolutely.
open to the general public?
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody that wants to come, it basically we run it from 1 o'clock until 3:15. We'll have different centers going simultaneously, with small breaks in between because our kids like to go and see their friends' presentations, and so we want to give them time to go from center to center to view those presentations.
That's a great thing. I know that there were a couple of noteworthy field trips going on. If you have time, can you
Oh,
mention
yeah.
any of those kind of things today?
Yeah, we've got a group of young ladies that are really interested in, well, the Humane Society and what it takes to, maintain those places, what it costs to feed a pet and multiple pets day to day. And so they were really started out, going, hey, we want to put care package together for the Humane Society. And they started talking and go, well, we really don't know what to put together. We don't know what they need. We don't know what animals, they know what they eat, but how much they eat and what's the daily budget for a dog, for a cat, for, the squirrel that came off the tree. But, so they went and visited a couple of different humane societies and pet centers that are rescue type places and found out a lot of information about, it's not cheap to have a pet at home, let alone multiple pets at a humane society. So, they're putting their data together, and that, was a great trip that they got to see, how many cats after, Christmas and during the fall that these humane societies pick up, and the dogs, and they kind of figured out some patterns for adoption and found out that cost per day, and we'll get to hear that tomorrow.
Oh, that's a great. It's an outside the box look at how to solve a problem or how to meet a need, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. You want a perfect society, but there's too many hurdles. And you have to figure out what those hurdles are before you can overcome them.
Right. Well, I have a particular interest in the following project, the Media Platform Group. Can you tell our listeners what that's all about?
Yeah, we've got an ambitious group of freshman boys that wanted to build a platform for our gym that GLR radio, other radio stations, and our YouTube broadcast could be more efficient at. So they built a platform out of, they went out and got tube steel and did the welding. And they've learned so much because they're really particular, number one. And learning the process, they thought, they could just weld some pieces together in a square, put it up there, and it's going to be good. But they sat there and go, hey, we want this thing square. How do you square a tube platform? So Nick, our instructor down there, Mr. Long and Levi, showed them how to square the platform, and they cut it apart and re-welded a couple of times. And then last Friday, they put the legs on and said, hey, this thing's going well. And they took it up today and placed it up there. It was looking good. And then they discovered that their legs that they have this platform standing on weren't straight. They were straight one direction, but not two. And they said, we took it back down, cut the legs off, had to regrind, re-weld, but they've got nice straight legs. So they know people are going to be judging this platform from other towns. So they wanted to do a nice job. And I think, once it's all done, I do not think with the setbacks, It will be completed by tomorrow, but by next Friday, when we have our home basketball game, they're hoping that GLR radio will be sitting on a nice sturdy platform above the crowd so they can see the game even better than they have in the past. So these kids, I tell you, they've worked diligently for 3 days now and just have asked a lot of questions, want to do it right, and have learned a ton about construction, physics, all those good things that go into any kind of construction project.
Well, I'm hoping that it's a very big success, because I know that would really that'd be a point of pride for those young men and
Absolutely.
for the school in general. So that's great.
Yeah.
That's a great project, and looking forward to giving it a full workout. I believe it's whenever next Friday is. If you're not talking about this Friday, then next Friday would be the 19th of January. So sometime between.
I'm talking about this coming Friday, which is what
the 12th. If you're talking
12th?
About this Friday.
Yeah, this Friday they want to have it up there so everybody can see it. So
that'd be a perfect
start. Week.
You're right. Perfect start to the second half of the varsity basketball season, really.
Absolutely.
So that's great that they're making good progress. I know there's a lot of people involved in that, and I'm glad that they're finding out as they go along what it takes to put something like that together.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is really great. Well, let's hit the 4 C's. We're talking about Genius Week, and this comes from the student-led projects where they find an area of passion to solve a problem in the world, and then they highlight the project by using creativity, collaboration, and critical thinking, and then most of all communication, to defend their ideas and to showcase what they've done with the presentation.
Absolutely.
Wonderful opportunity for anyone in the community who is free between the hours of 1 p.m. and 3:15 to take a look at the students' direct presentations if they're able to get to the school. Is there anywhere they should check in and find out what's happening?
Yeah. Come through the horseshoe doors, which I call our front doors, and Ruth will be here and myself, and we'll get you to where you need to be.
That's magnificent. Looking forward to the opportunity to see these presentations, or at least some of them, and to find out how the process has gone on many of these projects. I'll give you the last word. Anything in closing here?
Yeah, 37 projects. It's really tough to talk about them all, but I tell you, there's some amazing things going on. And if you have that opportunity to come down, I hope everybody will take the time to come and see these kids' presentations.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, sir, for your time here on the broadcast, and we'll call this a wrap for episode 2, and perhaps we can do a kind of a recap maybe toward the middle of the week. Perfect. After we've had a chance to hear some presentations and bring out some more highlights.
Super.
All right. Well, thank you very much. This has been Genius Week episode 2 here on the GLR Radio Network. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.